Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rift Weekly News Roundup with me, Seatin, the self-proclaimed Man of Legends, a title which I struggle to uphold on a daily basis. On this week's roundup of the news, we have quite a few exciting things to talk about. 2.5 is hitting this week in 3 days' time in America, and 4 days if you're in Europe. The best place to be, by the way, got myself on the shards, which is actually probably annoying. I talk about Whoopi Goldberg far too much in 60 chat. But anyways, patch 2.5 is hitting the 6th of November, or the 7th of November if you're on the Europe charts, and the features that it's going to contain on launch are still they're very unclear. We actually don't know what is coming with launch at the moment, as far as I'm aware. There are a few things that are pretty much guaranteed to come, and some stuff that may come with launch or may come shortly after, due to this new patching sort of thing that they're putting in place, where they don't roll out all the content with the big sort of initial patch hits, they do it over the course of the patch. So I think when the patch initially comes, we're going to have the Planner Achievement, the Underwater quest line in Ember Isle, as well as that kind of new little zone there, and also possibly the Intrepids. So is still quite unsure what's going to come with that patch, but stay tuned and we're going to find out in the following week. So I think the first thing up on the actual agenda is a bit of the server merge news. So as many of you were aware, we talked a bit about on last week's weekly news roundup about the server merges and the impact they were having. So they were lagging the servers quite a bit, and what happened sort of between then and now was Rift went up on Steam. Now, many of you know Steam is a program used by pretty much everyone, and people are lazy, they don't like to pay money, so when you search free-to-play games, Rift now comes up as one of the top ones. So they cut down all the servers were already on high population bordering queues, and then you had all the people from Steam join, which on the EU shards at least left queues of around sort of 200 to 50 to 500 people on every shard, which was absolutely horrific. Along with the ongoing lag issues that we're having. So that was an absolutely terrible idea, and they had to open a new server, despite closing 2 old servers, which really did hack into the role players that got, their server closed down. Even though the new server's a PvE server, but it kind of just really annoyed people that had like their home server just crashed. To have this new server come up, it just seemed like a massive oversight on their behalf, Close down the servers and then invite a ton more people to play your game. It was I think it was a very poor decision, but then again, I'm not the puppet master pulling all the strings. It might have been some sort of elaborate tactical plan, but judging by sort of the 10-second chat and item delay still on the EU servers, it doesn't seem like there's much planned, and they're kind of just plucking at strings, hoping they can speed stuff up by wiring cogs and whatnot. As I've mentioned before, guys, I suck at computers. I have no idea about anything and how to make stuff go faster. So at the moment, there's still got queue and lag problems, which I think has made pretty much most people abandoned raiding for the moment. I mean, we haven't raided in a few days. Planebreaker Progression, which is the last boss in the T2 raid that is out at the moment. I don't think anybody's got too far into the last phase, and that boss itself seems, we got a bit further, and it seems fairly unkillable at the moment. Just due to the fact that we thought, we just kill all the council members and then nuke the head, and that's how the fight's supposed to go. But no, they come back for another time, which in its current state, I believe we worked out is impossible. But, saying this, addiction's probably going to kill it by the time I get this up, and I'm going to be like, I got that shit wrong. But yeah, anyway, so Planebreaker Abominus, the last boss of Planebreaker Bastion, has still to be defeated. And I have no idea when he will be defeated, because, as I said, it seems unkillable at the moment, and a lot of our raiders are getting pretty tired with the whole server lag and unkillable bosses. So, we'll see what happens there. Anyway, moving on to other news this week. We've had an extremely good hotfix. Now, what this hotfix done was it brought a load of quality of life changes, and the best one that it brought was to leveling. So a lot of people have constantly been complaining about sort of, 1 to 50 is really easy, and then you hit this massive brick wall which was level 50 to 60, because the levels take about sort of 5 times longer than they did before. So what they've done is they've increased experience gains in level 50 plus content to be more in line with pre-50 progress. Now, I believe this has resulted in about on average, a 30% increase into experience gained and leveling speed and whatnot. So I think that's pretty damn good. You know, it's definitely a start. I mean, we'll have to see if people are still complaining. But also another thing they've done is they've reduced the health of non-dungeon Storm Legion NPCs between the levels of 50 and 53 to make it, you know, even more smoother from going into old content and Storm Legion. Because, you know, before that it was kind of like, oh, you're fighting all these 10k health mobs, then you enter Storm Legion and they're all on like 30k health. So it's a bit more of a smooth transition now, which is something, you know, I think is very long overdue, but I am very, very happy to see nonetheless. So just moving down sort of the hotfix notes, another really good thing we had was a bit of a nerf to Realm of the Twisted Dreams. So the amount of trash pools within the dungeon got halved, which means that, you know, it can go quicker, because at the moment, and it's in its current state, I think Realm of the Twisted Dreams is still a bit too difficult to be in the random dungeon finder, because it's like at least 2 to 3 times more difficult than any other random expert. So usually when you join it in a random dungeon, everyone just goes, no, we quit, and then leaves. So the two things that got changed was the trash pools got halved, which was a good change, and Twisted Lord Twill got his health reduced and his damage output reduced, which, I mean, I think the dungeon, in all honesty, still needs a few more nerfs overall, but it's a good start, you know. If they could get a bit more, I'd be happy, but I don't know, or they could increase the difficulty of all the other dungeons, and then people would actually have to read the forums and learn to play the game before they can clear experts. I think that's a better idea in my opinion, but in the opinion of a lot of people who don't like being told what to do in random expert dungeons and are pulling 4k DPS, they like it the level difficulty it is. Anyway, so yeah, with 2.5 coming, it's there's quite a few exciting stuff there. I'm just going to briefly touch on all of the features that we come in throughout the course of 2.5. So there are 4 new Chronicles, well there's 1 new, and 3 Intrepids. Now Intrepids are basically the revamped version of the level 50 Chronicles. So you got Greenscale's Blight, River of Souls, and also Hammernail. So those ones are exactly the same story-wise, and I believe they, while the rewards are not finalised for them, I believe they're going to drop Imperial Slayer's Marks. And if they all drop Imperial Slayer's Marks for completion, and also in the chest, and also there's this thing called a Sinister Presence, which appears to be in every run of them, that drops 50 as well. This is going to add like an amazing new way that you can get Imperial Slayer's Marks. You're going to be able to get so much more every day, because at the moment, I think I worked out you can get on average about sort of 1,000 a day by doing all the Chronicles and everything. But this is just going to add so many more ways that you can get them, so it's going to make gearing up into experts really easy, because you can run all the Chronicles. There'll be in total 7 to run each day, so 2 days, 1 day, and you'll get a load of gear, a load of marks, and you can jump straight in, which is pretty much what you can do already. But also it'll make it a lot easier to, you know, gear up for raids, because Imperial Slayer's Marks, you can buy T1 raid gear. So it's going to be really, really good. You know, lots of ways to get into raiding. People can gear up quicker. I'm all around loving the introduction of new Chronicles. I mean, adding to that, you have the new Tier 1 raid, Intrepid Drowned Halls come in, which I had a chance to play at during the week on the PTS, and it's really good. It needs a bit of fine-tuning. I mean, it's exactly the same as Drowned Halls was before in terms of mechanics, but I absolutely love the last 2 bosses in Drowned Halls. I think they're brilliant fights, they're really fun, really engaging, they got a lot going on, and they require you to be on your feet and do stuff. The first 2 bosses, not so much, but they did drop some very nice loot, which, some very nice rings. We definitely needed rings, and those that raid has to offer them, and it's going to be very, very simple. It's probably going to be the starter raid. Not entirely sure difficulty-wise whether it's going to end up easier or harder than Triumph for the Dragon Queen, but I believe it's going to be about the same. So, you know, as long as you've got 400 hit, I mean, you can jump straight in there whenever it launches. I mean, hopefully it's going to come with a patch, but, you know, we're going to have to wait and see when this raid does come into play. So, as I said earlier, there are 4 Chronicles coming in 2.5, and I cover 3 of them, so they're Intrepids, and the other one is a 2-man Planebreaker Bastion Chronicle, which takes place after the raid in terms of storyline. So when Planebreaker has been defeated, and some architect guy tries to go in and salvage this machine which rips stuff out of the planes. And that was on PTS, still is on PTS for normal mode testing. And we did a lot of feedback on that, and this week they're implementing hard mode testing for that, so that makes me think that's probably going to be about 2 weeks into the patch that actually appears on live. It may be a bit later, depending on sort of how the hard mode testing goes, but at the moment it's a really enjoyable Chronicle. The last boss is absolutely incredible, a really, really fun encounter, and I imagine I really cannot wait for the hard mode for that. And I did a quick fly through of like the entire place on my YouTube channel, sort of a first look in that, but I'll talk about all that kind of stuff later. So anyways, along with the patch, we've also got for PvPers a new Conquest map, Conquest Steps of Infinity, which I talked about. There's kind of been no word on when that's going to launch, as far as I'm aware, unless I'm missing something out. Feel free to correct me in the comments below. I know you will already, but yeah, I believe that I'm going to go at launch, or maybe 2 weeks later. I mean, they're just being really shady about what's going to come with the patch, really. It kind of feels like a very lazy way to patch to me. It's kind of like, oh yeah, it's going to have all these features, but they're all going to come when they're ready, so we can take as much time as we want. Which I think, it's good them taking time, getting everything right, but we'll see how it goes over the course of the patch, Not going to say anything for the moment on that, just going to casually sit back and see what happens. Might be good, might be bad, might be catastrophic. So one of the last things we have on the agenda is a bit about the Extra Life event, which is going on right now, and if you're watching it this midweek, it went on last weekend, maybe Monday as well. But basically what's happening is everybody's staying up for, I believe it's 48 hours this year, and playing games to help kids. I know Rough Raptors, the Tryon team, and a load of other well-known Rifters, as well as one of Rift's designers, Christopher Jr., or Chris Jr., is actually doing this event. And Chris Jr. actually has something on where his top donator is going to get an item named after them in-game. So if you want your name immortalized, go donate and help Chris on his quest to raise money to fight kids by playing video games. Quite a nice way to do it. But no, I like this whole Extra Life event, and while I haven't sort of been part of it due to sort of real life commitments, I really do support the cause. I think it's something that everybody should get in on. And yeah, maybe next year I'll be part of it when I can get a little webcam set up and start live streaming. Sometime soon, guys, sometime soon. You can see my seductive face and all my beady facial expressions I pull while playing Rift and knocking about and whatnot. So I mean, just like one of the things that really just like something really little that frustrates me, guys. I don't know if any of you have been watching this Extra Life event on Tryon Worlds. You probably still have time to stream onto it, but go to like twitch.tv/Tryon Worlds and you can watch Greg, Dahanese and Morgana just playing Rift and stuff. And literally just watch it for 10 minutes. If you know anything about the endgame of Rift, it's just this just really kind of hacks me off, just because I was a bit sad about LRR leaving Tryon a few months ago. It's just like really, really obvious that they don't play the game at all. Like, literally, I mean, I was watching the official live stream a few weeks ago, and Greg was talking about, like, Droughtlands and how he's never been there before, and it's just, the way they play the game and all the questions they ask, it's just so obvious, like, you guys don't play the game or don't really have any interest in it. You're only taking an interest in it because you're getting paid, which is something I really don't like to see. This is just my opinion, and, you guys are entitled to have your own. And I mean, they blag on about, oh yeah, I play the game at home, and it's like you've played it for like 5 minutes and got to Silverwood and found a rift, and it's that kind of commitment. Whereas people like Daglar and somebody else from the, I don't think many people are trying to actually play Rift, which I can understand. I mean, for example, if I was working at like Legoland all day, I wouldn't go to Legoland with my kids if I had kids, to ride the Lego rides and build Lego castles. I'd be like, you know what, I'm fucking sick of Lego. no more Lego. We're going to Thorpe Park or Chesington World of Adventures, or if you're American, Disney World. Not going to Legoland again. But anyways, guys, that concludes it for the Rift Weekly News Roundup. And I've been Seatin. If you like my voice for whatever deluded reason, feel free to subscribe to my channel. There is a lot of stuff on my channel about 2.5. Well, when I say a lot, there's 2 videos which cover a moderate amount of stuff in 2.5, so go check them out if you want to see sort of all about the Plane Breaker Bastion Chronicle. And I'd suggest definitely subscribing to my channel. It's very good if you like watching videos after you've come out from a night out. Maybe you've been down the pub, you've had a few beers, right, and you get home about, I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock, and you need to sit on the toilet, because I always need this after a night out. I just like to sit on the toilet, get whatever's out of me, and then go to bed. But sometimes, you know, when you sit on the toilet, you're like, oh, it's not going to come for a few minutes. So this is the point where you can whip out your smartphone or tablet device and load up the Seatin Man of Legends YouTube channel, and you can just watch a few videos of me playing Rift and talking about stuff until you're ready to do your business. And then guess what, you can, you know, turn the tablet off and go to sleep. And I think that's a nice way to, you know, end a night out. So guys, subscribe, like the video, leave a nice comment. I read everything. And also I want to do a lot more videos for you guys, so if you have any recommendations, any stuff you'd like to see. I know I made a few promises about videos last week, and a lot of, like, the Imperial Marks, Slayer's Marks maximization guide. I want to leave that till 2.5 because it's, you know, next week, and there's a lot of changes that will be immediately made if I do release the video. But anything that's not changing with the patch that you want to see immediately, you know, I can get to work on that. So just let me know what you guys want to see, and then I can give you an idea of how long I can get it out in, or something like that. So yeah, leave a comment if you want to see anything, and thank you for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. Take care.